there everybody, and welcome back to the Correcting Common Posture Deviation series. As always, I'm your host, Justin Archer, aka the Posture Guy, your #1 source on pain, posture, and performance. And today we're going to be going over how to go about correcting the common posture that's responsible and or associated with sciatica, or otherwise known as sciatic nerve pain. Most people are familiar with the condition of sciatica, but in case you're not, I'll give you a brief description of what symptoms and or physical limitations are associated with it. So the sciatic nerve is a nerve that travels through your spine and branches out. It kind of goes down back this way and then branches out through your buttocks and goes down the back of your leg. And there's really two places that it could be impinged. Either in the lower back, the lumbar spine, I believe it's between L4, L5, and then in and around the piriformis muscle, which is a muscle in your buttocks region, okay? Now, when this nerve is impinged, and it could depend on the severity of the impingement, so how hard, the intensity of which the nerve is being impinged, will determine what type of symptoms you feel. So if it's very lightly impinged, a lot of people say that they feel fine most of the time, but then every once in a while, if they step wrong or they just move wrong, they'll get what they kind of call a zinger, or a sharp stabbing pain, or maybe it feels like a bolt of electricity, a nerve pain, either in their buttocks. Sometimes it's from their buttocks down to their kind of the back of the knee, and then depending on again where and how and the severity of the impingement, it may go down all the way down the leg. If the nerve is impinged more, again being compressed more and more, almost like it's being strangled, then people may say they have tingling or burning sensation down the back of their legs. Again, this could be one leg or it could be both. And then really when the nerve is impinged the most is when people say they have like a numbness. And that's what you definitely want to watch out for. As much as people go, oh, I'd like for my tingling or burning to go away, and I'd rather just have it be numb. No, you don't. Numbness is actually the worst. So if someone comes to see me and they have numbness due to a sciatic nerve impingement, if on our first session, even if we can improve it into a tingling or numbing, that's good, because that's a sign that we've gotten the compression on that nerve to loosen up, and now finally you're getting some sensation. Even if it's a tingling or a burning, you're getting some sensation from your nerve endings, to your spine, to your brain, to actually feel something. So that's actually improvement. Now, this sciatic nerve can be, like I said, impinged in the lower back or the buttocks region. What postural deviations are usually associated with this is there's usually going to be an elevated hip involved, so one hip higher than the other, could be left, could be right. And then as a way to compensate, you'll usually have some form of valgus stress or knock knee. So for example, if my left hip is up, now I've kind of had this I've just created this artificial leg length discrepancy. So to balance this out, my left knee here, will come in as a way of kind of shortening the distance between my hip and my foot on the ground. So now at least it's a little bit more even. And you can see now my knee is presenting inside of my ankle and my hip. A lot of times you'll see people with sciatic pain where one or both of their knees will be internally rotated. Hope you can see that there. Sometimes they're external, but I would say usually, especially if it's an asymmetrical symptom, they have sciatic pain on just one side, that side is internally rotated. All right? That's pretty much it as far as the lower body. Moving up, think about it, if you have an elevated hip, what that's going to do to your spine. It's definitely going to asymmetrically scrunch your spine together like an accordion. And that's going to lend itself to impinging that sciatic nerve in your lower back. Also, something you usually see with people with sciatic pain is that they have that anterior pelvic tilt, to the point where they have a more than acceptable, a more than 1 to 5 degree anterior pelvic tilt, which then translates into this lordotic, this excessive curve in the lower back. And again, just imagine like an accordion scrunching together. It's going to scrunch whatever's in between it. So imagine if you ran a rope in between the accordion sections. I honestly don't even know what you call them. It would squish that rope. It's really the same type of physics that's happening in your lower back. Now, One other place you can look for as far as the cause of your sciatic nerve pain that a lot of people don't think of because it's further north is in the upper back and shoulders. And follow me here for a minute. If let's say your shoulders, one is higher than the other, or they're rounded forward, or your upper back is kyphotic, it's kind of rounded this way, well, you have both muscular and myofascial attachments from your shoulders and upper back and spine down into your hips, right? Your body works together as a unit, so we got to treat it as such. So if I have one shoulder that's higher than the other, and maybe now this offsets my hips like this, and now I have that valgus stress, that internal rotation, but then we do a little functional test and we put your hands on your head, pull your elbows back, and this evens out the shoulders, and we realize, this evens out, this goes back, and now there's no sciatic nerve pain, or maybe at least it's been relieved. That's a hint, that's a sign, kind of a red flag going, okay, it's the upper back and shoulders being out of position, that's the dysfunction, and now everything below it has been forced to compensate as a way to support what's above it. Unfortunately, as your body compensated for this dysfunctional upper body, it's had to compensate in a way that it's now sacrificed your sciatic nerve, unfortunately, to the posture gods, and that sciatic nerve is now being impinged. So we went over the symptoms. Think about what physical limitations are involved with sciatic nerve pain. Well, pretty much anything that involves walking or running, because, and again, this doesn't have to be sports or athletics, it could just be simply getting up from your chair to go to, the bathroom or the water fountain or whatever. If you're walking with one hip higher than the other, some valgus stress, internal knee rotation, some lordosis in your lower back, maybe you have one shoulder higher than the other, think of all the compensation that has to go on in that lower back area, as well as in the muscles in your buttocks, to get you from point A to point B in a straight line. There's a lot of rotation, a lot of torsion going on. And a little test you can do to definitely feel this is sit down on a chair, ideally so your knees are bent at 90, and then cross your legs. Men, you'll know what I'm talking about. Women, think about crossing your legs like a guy would, so ankle over knee like this. Sit up as tall as you can and push that knee down and away from you with your buttocks muscles, okay? And now kind of feel what that feels like. You should feel like a significant pull or stretch in your buttocks. And once you kind of get a feeling for how that feels, go switch to the other side. Now, if you notice a significant difference, if one side is easier or harder than the other, or tighter or looser, that tells you right there that you have an imbalance in your glute muscles and definitely your piriformis. And that's a big cause right there. Remember, that's that second place that the sciatic nerve can be impinged on, is due to that piriformis impinging that nerve. Now, of course, that piriformis may be tight, not simply, again, muscles don't tighten up just to kind of piss you off. It could be tightened up because you have one hip higher than the other. That hip could be higher because maybe you have one shoulder higher than the other, or your upper back is rounded forward. Don't get too concerned about that, because what I've done is, down below this video, I put together a routine that is going to address all the common postural deviations and or compensations that are associated with the postures that I just showed you, that usually go hand in hand with the symptom of sciatic nerve pain. And those exercises are designed to restore balance to the piriformis and gluteal muscles left and right, to restore balance between your hip flexors and extensors so that your pelvis returns to a neutral position, as well as balance out your upper back and shoulders so they're even. And when that happens, when you start to feel in some of these stretches and exercises, balance both in stretch and also in strength, when you do, say, gluteal contractions, when you start feeling this balance, you're going to notice that there's a direct correlation. Is the more balance you feel in stretch and strength, the better your posture is going to be, and the less you're going to hurt. So, by all means, take kind of do a little evaluation on yourself as far as how your symptom is, how your balance is, and how your posture looks before you do the exercises. And then go do the exercises. This routine is a little lengthier. It's 11 exercises. You should be able to get through it within about 40 to 50 minutes. Obviously, the reason it's longer than some of the others I've suggested for you is because there's a lot more involved with sciatic nerve pain, there's a lot more possible causes than maybe just one particular postural dysfunction or deviation creating one symptom. All right, but try them out and then let me know afterwards, how you feel. If you have any questions along the way, please don't hesitate to ask. You can leave them down in the comment section below. You can call, email me, Facebook, Twitter, etc., etc. All right? Anyways, I thank you for joining me inside today's video. I look forward to seeing you inside the next one. Until then, take care and keep moving.